Welcome back to Everyman Prepping. Yes, according to scientists and the data from government agencies such as the FDA and EPA, fish that you catch yourself in the wild, in ponds, in rivers, and lakes is harmful to you. But fish that you buy in grocery stores is good for you. We're going to get into that, go through the article and see what the actual report says. Then we're going to really talk about why they're doing this. Why is this article coming out? You can find it everywhere. Today, this article is everywhere. And why is the mainstream media pushing this? What agenda do they have and the powers that be have? So before we do that, please like, subscribe, and share. Really helps out the channel. And let's get into this article here. So this says here, and this is just from Healthline, but like I said, this article is everywhere. This information is everywhere today. Eating one freshwater fish equals a month of forever chemicals. So they're talking about these things called PFASs. And they give you health issues from immune deficiency problems, cancer, fertility, really bad for you. And, let me see if I can pronounce this out here. They tested for perfluorooctane sulfonic acid, which is in a group of chemicals called perfluorinated alkaline substances. Just know that they're bad for you. Anyway, the study was done by Environmental Working Group, and I'm going to show you the study because I want to show you where the data came from, so you actually believe this is what they're trying to spew out here. But so they did the study, and they didn't do any testing of the samples themselves. They relied on samples taken from the EPA and the FDA, two very trusted government sources. So what they did here, it says that the analysis of data gathered by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, so the EPA, found that median amounts of the PFOSs and other chemicals classified as PFASs were 280 times greater in freshwater fish than in some commercially caught fish. So you're going to die 280 times faster, more chemicals, than if you just go to the grocery store and buy this farm-raised stuff and don't go out and worry about getting it yourself. So that's what the EPA says. And what they compare it to, this article doesn't even tell you, but they compared it to FDA results, which we're going to talk about how that's an issue in a minute if you're have any kind of common sense or scientific background. It says here, the researchers analyzed data from over 500 samples of fish collected in the United States, check this out, from 2013 to 2015. So it wasn't like last year, this year. We're talking almost 8 to 10 years ago. They using data from 8 to 10 years ago, meaning they used scientific methods from back then. All that. Now it's by the EPA. And then let's go here. I'm going to show you. So this is the actual. I'm going to link this in case you want to read this entire scientific report. You can. But, they titled it, locally caught freshwater fish across the United States are likely a significant source of PFOS and other fluorinated compounds. Oh, wait, let's go back here. Let's find out where you can get these chemicals from. It says here they're using everything from non-stick cookware to firefighting foam to clothing, stain prevention like Scotchgard, and they give you fertility problems, cancer, immunity, all that stuff. So that's where these chemicals come from. They also non-stick pans and stuff have this stuff, all that stuff. So anyway, the important thing I want to get to in this article is their methods. And let me get to the method here really quick. There's the abstract. I know it's scrolling by really fast here. Apologize for that because it's blown up so you can see it. Methods. So this is how they did it. Once again, the testing data on retail fish. So this is how they got the retail numbers. It was from multiple USDA data sets. So 9-1 data set, multiple data sets. That means multiple people did the testing. And they took the samples from, check this out, 2019 to 2021. And even some seafood in 2022. So that's the biggest thing I want to point out. So, and we don't need to read much of anything else. They talk about the EPA, and this is where they got the numbers for that, and all that fun stuff there. We don't need to get into more article on this. We have enough information right now. Scientists used government data. That was the difference between 8 and 10 years old to come to the conclusion that fish that you can get yourself, that you can go out, that you can provide for your family and go to a lake, a pond, a river, is worse, more harmful, has more of these forever chemicals that will never leave the fish. They stay in them forever. You eat them, they're in you forever. That's why they're called forever chemicals, supposedly. They're, 280 times more harmful than if you just go to the grocery store and buy them from them. If you read a little bit more of the article, it says, well, when they're grown commercially, they're controlled more. They have better ways of controlling what goes in the water, and some of these fish are cut out the ocean, and there's nothing bad in the ocean. So that's the reason they're giving. But let's go through what is wrong with the study, and then we'll go into why this is happening. So first of all, data sets, there were two different government agencies. So their methods, practices, procedures were all different. Different people did it. Even within the APA study, they did different studies. So different people within that own study did it. They were 8 to 10 years apart. So the testing methods, the chemical compounds, how they traced them, how they found them, all that is different. So you can't even compare these two studies. I don't even know what scientists in their mind would compare something like this and then call it a legitimate article. So it's flawed from the beginning. Obviously, they have an agenda. So let's talk about this agenda. They're basically out there trying, I think, to fearmonger and scare the population into don't get food for yourself or your family. Don't fend for yourself. Don't provide for yourself. Let big corporate, big daddy government, let us get the food. Only buy the food from us. Because as I always say, if you control the food, you control the people. And if you bring fear to the people that if they get their own food, well then they'll go to the government or big corporations to get it. It's kind of like the bird flu when they start putting out articles that said, don't hunt for ducks or geese because they could have the bird flu and they could, get you sick or do something. Don't go out and hunt those. Same thing here. Don't go out and fish to provide for yourself. Because you're going to get all these chemicals. One of these, if you read further into the article, it even says, even in pristine wilderness areas, in the far reaches of Idaho, Montana, the Sierra Nevadas, there's even chemicals up there. So don't even go up there. That's bad. Just don't fish for yourself. Don't get any food on yourself. Just come to the grocery store and you'll be fine. So I believe none of this. Is there some chemicals out there in these fish? Yeah, I'm sure there is. Is there chemicals in the commercial ones? Yeah, I bet there's even more than in the wild. You're not going to tell me the wild has more than the commercial ones. So I want to bring this to everybody's attention that don't fall into the fear mongering, of course. Don't, just read these and, see all these articles put out by the media. And I know most of you don't. Most of you probably don't even look at mainstream media, which is a great thing. But you can pass this on to your friends and family, share this with them and say, don't believe what they're saying here. They're, look into this more, research it, think critically about it. Think about how they did the studies. Do you really think that wild, freshly caught fish that you farm for is more hazardous for you than something grown commercially in a giant, operation and then put into a grocery store that's who knows how old before it gets to you, right? So it's want to bring to everybody's attention. It's another thing they're trying to scare people from, making their own food. Remember, was it a year or two ago? It was the big seed scare in the gardens. Poisonous, crazy seeds from China. Don't grow your own garden. Don't grow your own food. Then we had the bird flu. Don't go out and hunt. Now we have don't go out and fish. See the trend they're doing here? Getting you to be afraid of all food except what you're provided by the man, basically. So when I see something like this, when I see the government, scientists pushing something, I usually look at the opposite and go that way. If I see them recommending something, do my own research and probably go against that recommendation. So just critically think for yourselves. Please share this with everybody you know. I would definitely never not stop fishing. In my own opinion, not stop fishing or hunting. I don't believe there's any truth to that. Like I said, I think it's just an agenda. So write down in the comments below, what do you think about this? What do you think about what they're trying to do? Do you believe this? Do you believe that what they're saying in this and the bird flu and all that stuff? Or do you think they also have an agenda to get people just to go into the cities, into the grocery stores? And until next time, keep your ear to the ground, head on a swivel.